It's the Linemakers on Sporting News.
All right, folks, time for your weekly NASCAR update from the Linemakers on Sporting News. We're at the South Point Casino. Brian Blessing, Micah Roberts. Clint Bowyer gets the win last week at Charlotte, Micah, and it's kind of the new day and age in NASCAR where fuel mileage is a huge consideration. Might that be a factor in determining the chase?
It might be, because the Dodge has been great all season long with Brad Keselowski. He's won a couple races on fuel mileage, and it is something to consider. And it's a thing that teams have to take the risk and try out, but also handle the risk of running out of fuel, which you can't do in the chase situation. So you're really not going to see guys like Hamlin and Johnson risking too much at this juncture, because this is what it's all about, winning the championship. 5 races to go, every point counts, and you got to play it safe sometimes.
Yeah, last week it was Clint Bowyer getting the win by having the car with the best mileage, and Keselowski actually ran out of gas. He had the best car, it did appear, that night. Now, we're down to a 3-horse race, Johnson, Hamlin, Keselowski. Let's focus on Kansas Speedway here, the Hollywood Casino 400. What are you looking for in this event?
Well, what's funny is the last 3 races have been won by the top 3 drivers, Keselowski, Johnson, and Hamlin in succession. So they have a lot going for them in this race. Hamlin's been really good all season long. He won this race earlier this season. Jimmy Johnson's the track's all-time leader with a 7.9 average finish. And you also got Greg Biffle with the 8th place finish, average over his career, and 2 wins. So they've got their aero package straight with Roush Racing again. They had some changes in the midseason. They didn't catch up like some of the other teams did. But Greg Biffle should be a guy you want to look at this week to maybe upset some of those top guys at the top there, Brian.
How about Reagan Smith at 30-1? Dale Earnhardt out with the concussions for a few weeks. We really never got to see what he could do in that car because they had engine problems last week. Does he have anything to offer here?
I think so. And you look at the car, they've had such a great season on the mile-and-a-half tracks. In the first 8 races, mile-and-a-half, they finished in the top 10. That was the only team in NASCAR that finished in the top 10 on those type of tracks. And I was really surprised what happened last week. I almost thought there was some kind of sabotage or something so you wouldn't see Reagan Smith do well, because, you know, all kinds of stuff would happen, and people would be talking a lot, because Junior's only won 1 race in the last 5 years. So you can't have Reagan Smith winning, but I think this week we're going to see him do well and the team perform better.
It is such an interesting dynamic when you wager on these races, because there's a big picture in store. Basically, Hamlin knew he had the car that could run down Clint Bowyer, but he didn't want to run out of gas. And he was saying to himself, I can afford to run behind Bowyer, but I need to be ahead of Johnson. So going for the win is, in many instances here, not the ultimate prize.
No, it's not. And again, we're racing for points, racing for a championship, and we're going to see these drivers play it safe. However, you can't ignore the fact that Denny Hamlin has been the best on these type of tracks all season long. He's got a couple runner-ups, a couple third, a couple wins already, so no one has been better, more consistent on these type of tracks. Jimmy Johnson still doesn't have a win on the mile-and-a-half tracks yet, although he has 3 runner-up finishes. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. We got 5 races to go, and I think Martinsville, Brian, is going to be the track where you're going to see Hamlin and Johnson kind of separate themselves from Keselowski. He hasn't really ran as well as those 2 monsters at Martinsville there, and that's going to be where we're going to see some separation.
Monster information from Micah Roberts. We're here for you, covering NASCAR until they finish the chase for the big race, and that comes your way at Homestead at the end of the year.